Showing you guys my 2021 rod and reel arsenal. I don't have many combos, like I don't know how to explain this, but yeah, I actually have some stuff in the garage, so we got to go get that out. Yeah, it's freezing in here. So yeah, we got a few rods. RIP spinning reel 2021. That's probably why some of my stuff is broken. I like to break stuff. The rest of my stuff is already in the basement. Rip. We got the rods. I still look pasty. We're gonna put these all in one place and do a little rod and reel arsenal. Talk to you about the gear, how expensive it was, and all that stuff. A lot of you guys watching probably don't even really care, but yeah, my goal for 2021 is to try my hardest to make a video every day. So I have no excuses today, and there's a video to be filmed. I don't have much like fishing gear, so I'm gonna go through not only my bass fishing gear, but also some of my ice fishing gear and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm gonna set you guys up on this tripod so I don't have to hold the camera. Oh, that's a little too high. Alright y'all, first I'm going to be going through my spinning combo, which it broke on the way up here. This is all a lot of cheap stuff, so if you came here expecting a bunch of Shimano XLXs and Curados and all that, I'm sorry, but I don't have much expensive stuff. I'm just a 15-year-old kid who mows lawns to earn this kind of stuff, so I don't have crazy money or anything, and my parents don't spoil me, so therefore I have to work for my own stuff. There it is. It's just I don't use this very often, but this is a Shakespeare. I don't use this much. I just use this really for like, I just mainly use this for like more finesse stuff, like drop shots. Sometimes I'll have Ned rigs on it. Just basically finesse. This is my little finesse rod. It's not very expensive. Has nice sensitive tip. I haven't had a problem with it, but I'll probably get a new spinning combo this year. This is pretty cheap. I think this was like 40 bucks altogether, like not even, I think it might have been even cheaper, but anyway, this is definitely my cheapest combo. I literally just fell apart. But yeah, I'll definitely be getting a new spinning reel this year, replacing that. All last year I was rocking 6-pound test on there. It worked out pretty well, caught some nice fish on it. Then these are my two bait casters. But if you guys watched literally 2 days ago, this was the combo I was practicing flipping with. We just got some 20-pound fluorocarbon on there. This was what I was using at my cottage, which was the last time I used it. I was using it for some jigs and heavier fall time baits. I just have a frog rigged up on it, like I said in the last video. I got this Googan Squad frog, and I've never got any Googan hard baits. It's not really hard bait, but like anything besides soft plastic. So I was really excited to see what the quality would be on this. Obviously I didn't catch any fish on it, but it's just what I have rigged up, and this isn't even my frogging rod. This is just like a jig / Texas rig rod. Sometimes I'll use spinner baits on it. I have a whole nother topic to talk about at the end of this video. But yeah, this is a 7'2" medium heavy. The next bait caster, so that was my first ever bait caster, and yeah, it doesn't look it looks all weird. It has fluorocarbon with a frog on it in the middle of winter, so you guys are like probably like, what the hell? But this is my second ever bait caster. I'll show you guys this up real close again as well. This one has a jig on it. I'm not really sure why. Again, I think I got a new jig and I was just testing it out. But this one is an older combo. I know it sounds weird. Like, how is it an older combo if you got this after your first combo? But that's because this is actually my great-grandpa's fishing rod, and unfortunately he died. We were going through some of his stuff, and this was left in his barn when we were going through it. I'm the only one really big into fishing in my family. I don't have many cousins, and even the cousins I do have, they're not big into fishing really. So obviously I got the bait caster. It's old, but it works pretty good. I was thinking that this was more of like a higher end reel back in the day. If you guys know what type of reel this is, or how old it is, let me know. But this is it says the Tourney Classic. I don't know what brand it is. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can read that or not, but it says Tourney Classic. It says that it is a 6:2 to 1 gear ratio, and it comes on this Amazon rod, since I didn't want to get an expensive rod for it, especially if it's a free reel. So this whole combo costed me like 40 bucks. If I would have had to buy the reel, it would have been more expensive obviously, but the only thing I had to pay for was the rod. This one is a 7-foot medium action, so this was more for like my sensitive baits. Like this one had a small jig. I also had soft plastics obviously. I used the other one more for like harder baits, like jerk baits, crank baits, but this one did the job for other smaller smaller weighted baits, it was a better reel and rod for it. So yeah, it's not much. I only have 2 casting combos and a spinning combo. But like I said, I just started getting big into fishing last year. I don't know how to explain this. Obviously, I've been fishing my whole life, but my family's always just been the type of family, just buy a bunch of spinning reels, call it good, and then buy whatever baits and just use whatever combo. It doesn't matter if it's a medium heavy, a light action, doesn't matter. We'll throw whatever. And yeah, I basically just got more into it, like more, I don't know, basically just saying I'm better at it. But this year, I'm going all in this year. Last year, I spent more money on camera gear. Now I have this amazing camera. I have a giant tripod, which you guys are on right now. I have 2 GoPros, I have a Mac laptop which cost me $1,000. So altogether, all the camera gear and editing stuff that I bought last year, that added up to about $2,000. And that's going to be the same amount essentially that I'm going to be putting into bass fishing gear strictly this year. So I'm not going to buy any camera gear, maybe a few mounts or something. That's not going to cost any more than $100 throughout the year. So I should be good with camera gear until maybe like a few years from now if I get really big on YouTube. We are going to step right into our ice fishing gear. First, we're going to talk about this one. So if you guys have watched my most recent ice fishing video, which came out a few days ago, I think 5 or 6 days, I don't even remember, whatever. If you want to see that, I'll link it right here, and you guys can check that out after this video, or if you're bored of this video, you can just check it out now. I have a little story to tell you. Alright, so you see this rod, right? And then you see the handle. See how the handle doesn't really match up with the reel? You want to know why that is? Because when I had a fish on, alright, so I was reeling in a fish on the red rod, and the reel fell, like the reel handle. You can see here, I took it off this rod, obviously, but the reel handle fell off, went right in the hole. Luckily, I did land the fish at least, so that's always a plus. But now we're out a combo. It's not only that the reel broke, my other friend that went fishing with us also broke the rod tip. So if you can see here, but there's a little spoon. We didn't undo any of that, but we just figured, you can see it's still attached. It's literally just, the tip is just chilling there. It's like all knotted up in there. Whatever, it was a cheap ice fishing rod. So basically, I'm doing the same thing as last year, except for this year it's ice fishing. So this year for ice fishing, I'm not very big into it now, but next year I will. That's essentially what I'm doing. So I'm gonna save up all my money for regular summertime fishing this summer, and then in the winter, I'll obviously buy some higher quality rods that won't break like this, or the reel handle won't just fall in the hole. But anyway, getting back, so since the reel handle doesn't match the actual rod, I mean, it still works. So I still got one ice fishing rod. I had to rip. Now I only got 1. Next year I'll have like 5 probably. But yeah, it's a really short, it's not super sensitive, but I can say I've caught 95% of my ice fish this year on this rod. So I'm glad to say that. I got to at least put some good use to it until we had a little hardware malfunction. It was really sad in the moment when the reel fell into the ice fishing hole, but when I looked back at it, I was laughing my ass off. So yeah, this rod's super short. It's only like 1.5 feet, maybe close to 2 feet. So yeah, also not much for ice rods either. So I will say I have a lot of spinning rods. Alright guys, these are all my spinning reels from when I was a kid. These are included, the ones that are broken and also still working, but these are really cheap combos. I guarantee they're all under $50. Probably like 8 or 9 of these things. But I'm gonna put these back. But yeah, a lot of that stuff is useless. A lot of it still has some bobbers on it. It's just really crappy rods. So yeah, those were all my childhood rods from when I was 8 years old to about 12 or 13. And then yeah, obviously last year I got some of the bait casters, got more into bass fishing, stepped away from like walleye fishing, all that bluegill fishing and stuff. I just really like bass fishing because first of all, you can catch them fast. Second of all, you can catch them almost anywhere. Third of all, it's fun and it's not messy. You don't have worms and guts all over the place. And yeah, I just like it in general. I like catching bass. I think that they're good fighting fish. I like the gear. I like how they're really aggressive, but at the same time they don't have teeth. You can just grab a bass, flip it, pop out the hook, throw it back, or take pictures. I don't know, but I just like bass in general. Everything about them basically. So yeah, I will admit I don't have much gear, but this video was highly requested to do a rod and reel arsenal, but I can guarantee you by next year I'll at least have five casting combos, and I'll obviously get a higher quality spinning rod for drop shots and stuff. But if you guys have not seen the bluegill catch and cook video, here's a quick home screen. That's what my home screen looks like. Don't mind the dogs running in the background. My mom just got home apparently. But yeah, that's one of the bluegills we caught. They were pretty big bluegills. But yeah, that was the bluegill catch and cook video. You guys should check that out because I haven't been catching much fish lately, and that was a fire video. Alright y'all, if you haven't guessed it, we're in my room now. I'm gonna finish off the video in here. The video's not over yet, so don't click off. But in this part of the video, I'm gonna talk a little bit about what I want to get in the future for 2021, like my combos and what kind of fishing gear I'm gonna get. We're gonna sit down, have a little one-on-one, and a few more experienced anglers out there. Please leave your suggestions down below in the comments if this is a good idea or not, or what you would recommend. If you guys don't already know, I have a John boat. It has a few holes in it. It's very old, but it's a 14-foot wide John boat. First of all, we gotta clean up the holes. That won't take very long. I think once we fill the holes, that'll be done with. Second of all, we're gonna build a deck. That'll be pretty cheap, less than $50 with the deck and carpet, I'm assuming. Then we paint it. That won't be very expensive either. Then we need the trolling motor. That's gonna be a big bank deposit right there. I'm looking at trolling motors, and the cheapest foot pedal trolling motor I can find is around 400 bucks. I'm planning on getting the Minn Kota Edge. Some of these say only $200, but then you click on them and it says that the shipping's like another $200. eBay, you would think, has the lowest price, but I think you guys would be surprised when I say that the cheapest one, brand new, is actually the Walmart. It's $396, but it is gonna be expensive. But I think if I have the foot pedal, it'll be a lot more worth it, especially when I'm flipping and pitching and just literally bass fishing in general. We can go down the shore a lot faster. Basically just fish hands free. That's what I'm trying to say, basically, because before I had the handheld one, and I was very limited. Every other cast I would have to adjust it or turn up the speed or turn down the speed so that I don't crash into the shore or go over the spot we're about to fish and spook everything. But first of all, I'm gonna get a Minn Kota Edge. That's gonna be expensive, but that's 100% gonna be worth it. I'm gonna use it almost every day, probably, if not every day in the summer. Then I've been looking at some baitcaster reels. I'm planning on getting 2 to start out, because the whole John boat build and all that's going to be super expensive, and I will get a job once I'm 16. But for right now, all I can do is mow lawns and plow driveways to earn money, because I don't have a ride for a job. So once I'm 16, I can actually drive. Then I'll actually get a job and try to do this as much as possible. But then I'll be able to afford a lot more stuff. But right now I'm always on a budget. This is the first reel I've been looking at. A lot of people are saying that the KastKing reels are the best bang for the buck, and I've been watching a lot of reviews on YouTube. They said that this is basically the most trusted brand that's cheap. They're not a scam company. They're not scamming you. So this first reel I'm planning on being my topwater reel for mainly frogs, maybe a little bit of walking baits or poppers. But this is the KastKing Royal Legend. It's a 7:2 gear ratio, right-handed. I know that it could be a higher gear ratio, but I want a 7:2 because I don't see too much of a difference in gear ratio. But I know you're going to want to reel up to the slack as soon as possible to set the hook on the top water, especially if it's a big one. But anyway, and then the second one, I'm planning on this being my flipping and pitching rod, because top water flipping and pitching will basically be what I'll mainly be using in the summertime. So that's why the 2 new ones are going to be basically what I'll use the most. So then the second one is the KastKing Spartus bait casting reel, right-handed reel. This is a 6:3-1, I'm pretty sure, but this isn't a guarantee. As I said before, if you have some suggestions on rods, if this is a good idea, if this is a terrible idea, or what other rods you've had in the past that's below $60, that's pretty much my price range. These are both under 50, so that's a good for me. They look clean and reliable. They have good reviews, so I don't understand why they would be bad. If you've had any other reels, or if you know anything good or bad about KastKing, leave it down below in the comments. I would love to know. And yeah, obviously I'm still looking at rods. Rods is a whole nother thing. It takes me a lot longer to pick out a rod than a reel, just because of all the different first of all, you need the right length and action, which for the frog rod I'm gonna get a heavy rod. Definitely it has to be either 7.3 or 7.6 or somewhere in between there. And for the flipping rod, I want it to be about 7 foot, maybe 7'2", a medium heavy or medium. So yeah, I'm still doing a lot more research, so I'm definitely not a professional or anything. Yeah, that'll be it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. As always, I will see you tomorrow on another daily video.